Hey, how's it going? Today is day 95 of my 100-day inspiration challenge. And today I want to talk about some of the life lessons that I learned today while rock climbing. So today my fiance and I, we went to a rock climbing gym, and I had been to other rock climbing experiences where I had like a harness on, a little bit more restricted, I guess, and also safer. And I've also rock climbed in the wild for once as well. But today we decided to go to a rock climbing gym, and it was just like freestyle and all these different levels. And so I want to talk about 4 lessons that I learned or that I noticed from this experience, which I think rock climbing is super fun and super challenging. And I think that everybody should try it. And why not? It's an amazing workout and it's fun and you get out of your comfort zone. But I've got 4 things that I learned today from our experience rock climbing. And the first thing is, and real quick, I want to just say all of these things apply to life, and they apply to goals, and they apply to whatever it is that is in front of you. So as I'm talking about these, yes, they are from my experience today, which is from rock climbing. But I was also thinking about how these things apply to my own life and my own goals. And so as I say these things, I want you to think about your own goals in mind. So the first thing that I learned and realized was that I am stronger than I give myself credit for. Just like you are stronger than you know. You are more capable than you know. And we let our past, our stories, our pains hold us back. So I have some old injuries in my body. I pulled my hamstring a year ago. I also have a shoulder injury. And while I was rock climbing, I was very timid in the beginning to go for it because I was kind of nursing and protecting these wounds or these pains that I had. But the thing is I am healed from those injuries. But because they have been painful, my body has felt the pain of these injuries. It wants to overcompensate, it wants to accommodate, and it is afraid to take risks. And I think that that is true in life. If you have experienced any pain or regret or any feeling bad or insecurities or shame, or things haven't worked out the way that you have wanted them to go, it can be easy to continue to believe that those past stories are your truth, are your reality, and are the way that things are going to work out for you in the future. But the reality is that that is not true. The reality is that you are stronger because of those pains, and you are able to look forward even despite whatever has happened to you, despite all of the wounds and the pains that are inside of you. Just like for me, like I said in the beginning, I was a little bit more timid and reserved in climbing and even my movements. And eventually I had to mentally make the decision that I'm not going to let these past injuries hold me back. And so I told myself I'm just going to go for it because I didn't want the stories that I told myself to hold me back. And these things that have happened in my past, I wasn't going to let these hold me back. So I decided that I was going to go for it. And sure enough, my body was able to go for it. My body was able to adjust. And I was able to do climbs that in my mind, if I just thought about it in a logical way, I maybe didn't believe that I was capable of doing them. Just like in life, if you think about things in a logical way, if you think about your goals in a logical way, you might not have been able to do those things before. And so you might not believe that you are capable of those things, but you are stronger than you know. And you are capable of greater things than you know. And it all starts with allowing yourself to believe that it's possible. So that was the first thing, is to really realize that you are stronger and more capable than you know. And that your stories and your wounds do not have to define you. You can choose to move forward and to be greater despite those things. The second thing was it really helps to have a plan. So I noticed that I was watching other people, And some people would just go for it. And in the beginning, I was just like, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to jump on this wall and I'm going to will it. And it worked out for the most part. And then I watched some other people that were a little bit more experienced, which is just like life, right? If you want something, you watch people that have what you want, and then you can learn from that. And so I watched some people, and they would go for it a little bit more slowly, and they would get themselves in a precarious situation that they couldn't get out of. They were kind of stuck on the rock, and they had to step back and readjust and pivot and then change it. But then I watched the really advanced people, the people that seemed to really know what they were doing. And in the beginning, they didn't go for it right away. They had a much slower game. They stood back and they looked at the wall. They saw the pattern and they actually walked through it as if they were taking the steps on the wall that they were going to take to get that repetition in their body. And so that they knew exactly what they were going to do. They set up a plan in motion so that they knew how they were going to act. And the same is true in life. If you don't have a plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And so it is so important to know exactly what you want and then to know how you're going to achieve those things. If you're just hoping that things are going to work out, yes, it might some of the time, but you'll be so much more effective and much quicker if you have a plan. And yes, it feels like it's slowing down in the beginning. You want to just jump into it. But these people that I watched, they were so much more effective and they were able to achieve way more because they slowed down and they walked through it in the beginning and they went through the motion and they had a plan of how they were going to climb the wall. And so, like I said, the same is true for life. Having a plan for whatever it is that you want and then seeing that plan in action, seeing it in your head before it even happens, and then one step at a time, taking steps to achieve that plan. So the third thing is that I learned is that it is not always pretty. So yes, having a plan is the best thing that you can do. But sometimes you get in a situation in life or on the rock climbing wall and you are just stuck and you have to figure it out. Things did not go the way that you planned. And you can either let go and you can go back to the ground, you can start over, or you can get crafty, you can get creative, and you can just will yourself to take the next step. And it starts with that belief, again, going back to that belief, and also that determination, that tenacity, and that desire to keep going and to figure it out, even though things didn't work out the way that you wanted. So yes, having a plan is very valuable. But a lot of times in life, that plan is not going to work out exactly the way that you want it to. And so being open and being flexible to whatever comes up and then adjusting as you need and getting creative and also having fun and enjoying the stuck and enjoying the challenge of getting through the stuck so that you can build that momentum. So that was the third thing that I learned. And the fourth thing that I learned while rock climbing is the importance of having a goal. And I think the reason why rock climbing is so rewarding because it is so challenging and it is exhausting on your entire body, your arms. I could feel my heart rate coming up just from doing it. And like I saw people with their grips, all of these little muscles that are not normally worked. And it is very challenging, both physically and mentally. And the reason why it is so fun and why people enjoy it is because it is challenging and you get to overcome those challenges. And so having a goal in your life is so important. And it's not even necessarily about achieving the greatest thing. The goal for me, for when I finished, I was doing this very challenging course, I guess. I don't know what it's called, but they're all color categorized. And so I was doing this course, I guess, that was more challenging. And I knew there was no way that I was going to get to the top. And like, that would have been an amazing goal maybe for the week. But realistically, to set that as my goal was just never going to happen. And so my goal was to get like 1 or 2 from the top. And that was even challenging. That was really something that I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I am going to try, and I'm going to get creative when it gets hard. I'm going to have a plan, and I'm going to do the best that I can. And so my goal was to reach just a little bit further than what I thought was possible, and to keep going for it until I achieved that thing. And like I said, even though I didn't get to the top, I still set a goal for myself, and I was able to achieve that goal, and it felt really good. Just like in life, you have to set goals for yourself along the way, even before you get to the top. Right now, that huge thing of writing a book or starting a podcast or finding the love of your life might be too huge or too overwhelming of a goal. So what is a goal right now that is in front of you that is challenging, but it is also something that is achievable? And focusing on that thing and working toward that thing so that you can build confidence, and then you can build on that goal. Once you achieve that thing, then you do the same thing. You get another goal that is just barely out of your reach, and you keep working, and eventually over time you get to that big goal. Or you get creative, you have to pivot, you have to go a different direction, and your goal totally changes, and it becomes something that's even better than you thought. And so those are the 4 things that I learned today from rock climbing. The first is that you are stronger and more capable than you know. The second thing is it helps to have a plan. The third thing is sometimes you just gotta will it. You gotta get creative and crafty. And the fourth thing is the importance of having a goal. These are so important and so valuable in life, in rock climbing, in relationships, in whatever it is that you are trying to achieve. So remember to keep showing up for yourself regardless of where you are. If you do, there's nowhere that you can go but up. If you'd like to dive deeper, you can head over to showuptogoup.com.